Hello and welcome back to this part 15 of our video on building the Trimaran. Now this week I only got a few hours on my own boat. I finished the other boat, it's inside there, well it's finished, just needs to be painted. And so I put some time into that because I wanted to free up the workshop to make the two amas for the side. So I'm going to show you how we made these gussets and how we managed to put a bolt going through the wood that's actually not, wood is not exposed. I will show you that later. I'm not sure what you call it, but you drill a big hole and then you fill it with epoxy and then you drill a smaller hole inside that. That means the wood is never going to be exposed. So I'll show you how I fit this. And if you like what's in the video, much appreciated if you subscribe to our channel, and if you hit the bell then you will see the rest of them as they come up. I try to get them out on a Sunday. Okay, so we have our beams. We're making up our gussets. Our gussets for the ones on the tanks are different than the other ones. There's an angle because the bottom of the boat is at an angle. I was going to put them like this, but I thought they might not look so nice. So I'm going to put them up straight like this, and we're going to bring them in like this. That means we can get access to here. They can be removed a lot easier then as well. So what I've done is I have put two screws in these. I have made this 1 millimeter thicker than the beams here, right? Than the ACAs. The ACAs are 36, this is 37. And they will sit into this, obviously, yes, you know that, yes? Yeah? Okay. Just in case you're not following me, I have a line drawn here as well, where this is going. And we will clean these up afterwards, but what I want to do first is I want to get the height. So in order to get the height I need to put a straight edge across. I don't want it touching on this. I want it a few millimeters above that, but I am going to mark the height for this, and I'm going to mark here, and then I'm going to remove the two screws off this and cut this one dead accurate then, but I'm going to leave 2 or 3 millimeters on it. I haven't decided yet. Whatever I'm leaving, I'm going to leave on them all. Bring this over and go draw the line. They're not going to interfere with anything because the beam is going across here, so this is not going to, these are going to be cut afterwards and maybe rounded off a little bit like this or something like that, nice and smooth. They'll be just below, and the one bolt will be going through there. So now that we have these we have these cut lines here, I'm going to measure out a couple of millimeters, and then I will unscrew them first to cut them. So I'll cut them on the table. So, and then I'll screw these back in with epoxy, and the piece on the other side with epoxy. And then when we are fixing it to the boat, there will be a countersink. I made sure that these screws are nowhere near our anchor points. Our anchor points in the boat are here on the top and on the bottom, the same here. So that's where the screw will be going through. These screws will be countersunk. I'll explain again. After I put this on here, this will be sandwiched together, all glued up, smooth it on the side, epoxy cleaned up, and then when we're fitting it to the boat, we will countersink a screw here, and we'll countersink it about halfway in here, and we will plug it. And that will be going into the 1x1s on the top and on the bottom over there. Okay, so I have everything laid out. I cut the piece, I left a couple of millimeters, as I said, like this, longer, so that the ACA stays up off it. I also drilled out the other sides of them as well. That one goes on there like that, this one. Doesn't matter which one I put on first. These haven't been put on yet. They haven't been dried fit. They don't need to be. I have put cabosil, sag, anti-sag a little bit with it, leave it easier to spread. I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to go down along. I'm going to come back And I'm going to put it on the other one as well. I'm not taking a chance with these. These are strong. These outside ones. Down near the bottom they're fine, but I just want to do it right. So I'm going to come back and put it on the plywood as well. Let it soak in a little bit. And I'm going to put a clamp on the middle of them as well. I'm putting a screw on, one screw on each end. That's fine. I don't think I need to put extra on that. No, I don't know. It's soaking in a little bit, but not that much. I'll put another little bit on it then. I know it's going to ooze out because I've done it before. You usually end up putting too much on it. We have to clean it off then. Just make sure that there's no dry wood or anything like that, because I'm just going to screw these in now, and then I'm going to screw in the other side. And then with tomorrow it's evening time now, and tomorrow morning then we will sand these up, and we'll sand up the sides and we will epoxy them. I've left it a little bit longer on the short ones. I can't find. I want to make sure I'm in the right place. I am, yeah. I left it a little bit long on the ones with the angle, and then we can, so that we can fare it off on the angle of the boat. This is the outside. Now, I'm going to work quicker now, so I'm going to do less talking. I want to put a clamp on the middle of them. Way too much in some of it there. Oh, too much here anyway. It's oozing out the side. Now, Rex is there. Rex, will you go around and get clamping, and we'll start clamping these in the middle. Or we get a rag first and clean them maybe. No, we clamp them first. I could put a third screw in the middle, but the screws are adding weight to the boat. And as you saw in the last episode, I was struggling to lift the boat. I don't want to get gluey hands into the bag of screws. Okay, so they came out good. This is what they look like on the top, and what we're going to do now is we're going to drill these. I've already marked where the hole is going, where the framing is in the bulkhead, and we're going to countersink them I always believe that if you countersink something in very deep in here, and so the screw is held near where it's fixed, it pulls it in better, rather than if the screw is torsion on the screw. So I will be going in, plus I don't have stainless steel screws very long. The longest I have is 2 inches. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to leave it out about 20 millimeters. So I'm going to countersink them first, and then I will drill them. Then we will clamp them in position. We'll line up the ACAs, we'll line them up, make sure they're the same distance on each side. We'll line them up and we will screw them up, and then we will take them off again and then glue them in. The glue they're relying big time on the glue as well, on the epoxy. So first thing is I'm going to do the countersink on these. I was going to do them with wood inside. I don't know, I might. I have a bit there for making up the mahogany ones, and I can push 1, 2, 3, 4 in one after the other into it if I want to, rather than fill it with glue. So let's go and try and get it near the middle, even though I have the depth set on this correct, so I don't need to worry. I'm using a Forstner bit, which is nice and gentle. You can clear out before you go back down again. And that's me down the whole way. And the same here, try and get in the middle. I have my lines marked. And that's all. We'll drill them. We'll do them all up. I'm going to try and avoid getting glue in here when I'm painting them now, because if I get glue in here, I won't be able to get the plugs in. I'll make up some plugs then after a while. So we'll varnish them up then, or not varnish them. We will put epoxy on all them. Camera 1 recording. So I had to leave this for a couple of days because I'm doing other jobs, and I was finishing off the other boat then as well. Yeah, these worked out fine. They're not too tight. Well, there'll be more coats when they go on. It'll be a little bit tighter. We will adjust these very, very slightly to make sure they're all 100% parallel on the bottom. These holes here that we countersunk back in, I'm going to glue them in. I'm going to put in plugs, right? Like, you know, these little wooden plugs. You can make them yourself. I have this set for since 2015, and I never made a box for them. They're still in the packet. I'll give you a link on the bottom of them. Using half inch. Half inch is the one you use mostly anyway, unless you're doing very small. So they are not metric. So this plug will fit. Basically your Forstner bit and these you need to set, right? So one will fit the other, right? So they will go in there. I might have to put 2 of them in, I think. Yeah. So I made these a while back, so I'm hoping that they will fit in. Anyway, I'm going to hammer them in. So what I'll do is I'll just I'll put the glue in with the brush, and I'll do it the top one here, so it'll be easier for you to see. We'll wriggle it around a little bit. And we'll push one of them in. Well, we'll try anyway. You'll definitely want gloves for doing this. And I'll just push that one there like that. And because I'm putting 2 of them in, I'm going to bang the first one in with the screwdriver. Like that. Oh, we might put 3 in here. I'll put 3 in here. Okay. Don't worry about it. I have plenty of them. They're free. You make them yourself from scrap wood. And we put another bit in, and now that's gone, and then we put another little bit on, so they're all joined to one another. It's a better job than filling, isn't it? And maybe you should have done that with the gunwales. A lot of people do, but I didn't. So we put that one in there, and we just tap it home with a hammer or a mallet. And we'll do that with all of them. We'll do that with the 8 of these here. And so now the glue is dried in these. We're going to plane them up just before we do the bolts on these. I'll just take this out of the way for a minute. I'll just plane them up. You can use a plane or a chisel or whatever. You can go sideways on the grain, I usually do. And when I've all them done, then I will start drilling a hole in this, probably a ½ inch through here. Mark the beam, and then drill through the beam on the drill press, and then come back in here again and put a backer here and go. I need these to be very straight, because when I'm doing the secondary hole inside the epoxy, I don't want to touch any wood at all. So we just do these up. These will take a few minutes to do. The bottom ones I'll have to do with a chisel. Don't get carried away. No, we're down. Lovely. I like to go sideways on the grain rather than go straight along the grain, so you won't cut into the grain if you're going against the grain. On the bottom one there, I'll have to do with chisel. So I just clamp these together because there is a millimeter between these, and the paint will probably make that up. The reason I'm doing that is, first and foremost, we have this aligned. It's lined up. Make sure you're lined on both sides. There's a front and a back. You won't get them mixed up, but there's a front and the back of these, and you will have them marked inside there where you won't see them. I have marked. I'm going to use, I don't know what size you would call this bit. It's not metric, about 12 millimeters. It's a ½ inch bit. So our bolt is 8 mm. See our bolts, stainless steel. I have them for a long time. They're 8 millimeters. So I'll mark all these, mark them, and then we'll go into the workshop. Go straight down. You can go them up a little bit to clean it if you want to. Fine, be all covered in epoxy. Oh, now I've brought them back out again. We have the hole right through here. I put a sacrificial piece here on the back so that we don't break out the plywood on the other side. And then we'll drill through. And now we know, because the center of this is after being done on the drill press. So I'll just proceed to get this in here. And too much in, but anyway. It went in, I got more space behind it. Yeah, nice clean hole at the back here now as well. So we'll do that with all of these, and then we will bring them into the workshop. We will put paper on these and put cabosil mixed with the epoxy, and we will build these ones up. These ones we'll put them under flat and let it pour into them. I'm going to try and put it in with a siphon. I have not done this before, like nearly everything I have not done before, and I haven't seen it done before. Oh God, and now I'm after putting too much on it. Okay, because I didn't make an allowance for the amount that was, oh. Now I am totally messy, because I'm not allowing for the amount that's inside in the tundish itself. Now that was pretty easy to do, but I'm after filling them. So just make sure there's not too much here. We can sand it off again. I can pour another little bit in this if it's swelled, if it goes down. I can pour a bit in this in a few minutes. At the moment it seems to be cupping down a little bit. That's okay. I can put a tiny little bit in it later on. I just don't want too much here to have to sand down later on. What we have done is we have put a piece of plywood underneath, and we have put a piece of paper, and we've clamped them, so that should be to stop it pouring out. You can sand the paper off, no problem. Don't leave the bare plywood, you might have a big difficulty then. So I'll leave that for a few minutes. I'll pour another little bit into them there. Okay, so now I put 2 pieces of paper here, I put a piece of wood here, I even used a ruler here just to have it smooth, and we're going to fill them. It'll probably take 2 coats to do it on this, it might start sagging. I didn't put any wood in with it, but we're going to push it in with a scraper like this. Push it right in, and we'll do that all around the 8 on the 4 gussets. That's 8 altogether. We have 8. Now that turned out fine. We filled this. I sanded it down. I give it a second one. In the beams themselves, in the acas, after it sank down, I put dripped another bit into it because the air came out of it, and obviously it soaked into the wood as well. Came out lovely. So now I'm going to drill into the epoxy. It's not 24 hours set yet, but it should be fine. I have marked the center. Now we're using Imperial because that's the Fosner bits I have are that size, and the bolt is 8 mm. That's an 8 mm bolt that we're using. Stainless steel, good quality bolt. I don't have a 9 mm, but I have the Fosner bit 3/8, and 3/8 is almost 9 mm, or you could give or take. So I'm going to do it with this. I'm going to do the same. I'm only going to go in a little bit and then go back. I have tightened this against it by putting a 1.5 millimeter ruler behind them. Well, they won't even fit in because there's less than a millimeter splay, just to make sure it's tight. Make sure your line is there. And then we'll drill in as straight as we can. I think I'm nearly in, yeah. And we're going to go back on the press and try and get it straight as you can. And then we'll go back into the drill press. And don't move anything in between time. And we'll go right down. Nice and gentle. And take up some dirt. I'll just take that off it now for now. It's just wobbly a little bit. Go back down before you start it again. After you adjust it, go back down and then up again before you start. Okay, so now I'm going to drill through the other side of the gusset. I put a sacrificial piece here on the back, tightened in with 2 clamps on both sides, so it's tight against the beam. And then we will drill through. We let it in first, if you can, very lightly. Like that. Now it's time to. You're in there on the back. It's nice. Line her up and. And we're done. And we take off our clamp. And we do that with them all. Are we through? Yeah. And we're dead on in the, well, we're not exactly in the center of the epoxy, but we have still epoxy left all around it, so that's fine. And our bolts will go in like that then. We'll have a washer on them. The washers I have are a bit small, but we will do something nice to make them look nice. So we'll do the other one now the same. So that was the end of our part 15. So I expected to paint it this week, but I was taking a lot of colors of, a lot of coats of paint. I didn't get much time. Next month I'm going starting to paint it in the coming week. I'll have it hopefully finished painting in the coming week. A few little surprises in the way I'm going to paint it. I'm going to also put in. I'm going to have to put in something for to hold the sail mast here. 2 pieces, one on the top and one on the bottom. I'm thinking of modifying that. I don't like the look of the other one. And then we will be painting. After that, we have rudder and dagger board to do, and the amas, and that's the whole boat complete. But I just want to finish this one. I can take it out in the sea now if I want to, but the sea is nice and calm today. But there's a typhoon coming tomorrow, so. So thanks again for watching this video, and please tune in next week.